Do microtransactions truly push the boundaries of gaming, or are they just a predatory money grab? From loot boxes to player-driven economies, microtransactions reshaped how developers approached game monetization. But what should have brought positive changes to the industry soon became the source of major controversies. How did that happen? I am the games guru. Let's get started. The story of microtransactions can be traced back to the Maple Story, a free-to-play MMORPG released in 2003, which introduced the idea that players could spend real money on virtual items, everything from cosmetics to powerful upgrades. While this laid the foundation, it wasn't until after 2006 that microtransactions gained considerable attention. In 2006, The Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion made history with the release of the infamous Horse Armor DLC. This paid add-on offered nothing but a cosmetic upgrade, a piece of armor for the player's horse that provided no gameplay benefits. Despite this, gamers were surprisingly enthusiastic about it, with some even showing more excitement than they did for actual game expansions. This was a turning point. Developers quickly realized that these small, easy-to-produce items could generate significant profits with minimal investment. More studios began to follow suit, seeing the potential to boost revenues without needing to release full game expansions. Other examples soon followed. The Sims 2 made waves when EA launched an online store in 2008, where players could purchase in-game items using real money. This shift from traditional paid expansions to microtransactions allowed players to customize their games piece by piece, and it was a move that was incredibly profitable for EA. Each small purchase contributed to a larger cumulative revenue, and this success set a trend that would be followed by countless games to come. In 2010, Valve too decided to experiment with microtransactions in Team Fortress 2. However, unlike other studios that simply added cosmetic items for purchase, Valve wanted to make things more engaging and unique for players. They introduced a system where players could buy and sell cosmetic hats and other in-game items on the Steam market, creating a player-driven economy. For the first time, players had real control over their purchases, with the ability to sell or trade items to other players for real money. This system became wildly successful, and the marketplace for TF2 items flourished. Despite the success, Valve felt that something was still missing. While TF2 was a strong testbed for their ideas, they wanted to build a more meticulous and engaging microtransaction model for their next big project, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. In 2013, Valve introduced the Arms Deal update, which revolutionized the way microtransactions worked in the game. This update introduced cosmetic weapon skins that players could buy, sell, and trade, much like the hats in TF2. However, Valve went further with CSGO. They created a system where rare skins could hold significant real-world value, essentially crafting a virtual economy around these items. To help build this model, Valve reportedly consulted with Yanis Varoufakis, a Greek economist and former finance minister, to create a dynamic in-game economy where items could fluctuate in price based on supply and demand. This approach gave the system more complexity and realism, allowing players to engage not just in gameplay, but in economic decisions. The gaming industry took notice of Valve's innovative approach, but few companies managed to replicate it. Despite the success in creating thriving in-game economies, many developers opted for simpler models like loot boxes or battle passes. Nevertheless, Valve's model remains one of the most respected and impactful implementations of microtransactions in gaming history. While microtransactions had already made their way into PC and console gaming, it was the mobile gaming industry that truly unlocked the full potential of this business model. In the early 2010s, mobile games adopted a freemium model, where the games themselves were free to download and play, but players were encouraged to spend real money on in-game purchases for various benefits. The pioneers of this model were games like Angry Birds and Farmville, but the real breakout came with Candy Crush Saga in 2012. Candy Crush allowed players to purchase extra lives, power-ups, and boosters, to progress through the game faster, blending a pay-to-progress structure with free-to-play accessibility. This was the first time the psychology of instant gratification met gaming at such a mass scale. The ease of spending a few dollars here and there felt minimal to players, but it quickly added up, turning mobile microtransactions into a billion-dollar industry. Another mobile game that capitalized on this trend was Clash of Clans. By allowing players to purchase in-game currency to speed up base building and military expansions, Clash of Clans introduced a form of resource-based microtransactions, which soon became a staple in many strategy-based mobile games. This type of spending created a gap between pay-to-win players and those who chose not to spend, but the success of the game proved that a large segment of the player base was willing to pay to get ahead. Soon, major publishers started realizing the massive potential of in-game purchases in traditional, non-mobile video games. The shift was stark. What began as an additional revenue stream quickly turned into a key monetization strategy for major titles. Activision and EA spearheaded this shift by breaking down their flagship titles Call of Duty and Battlefield into DLC packs and season passes. Players who wanted access to new maps, weapons, and features often had to pay extra for these expansions, fragmenting the player base between those with and without the paid content. While many accepted this as the new norm, there was growing criticism from the community, arguing that publishers were locking essential content behind paywalls. At the same time, games like GTA 5 took microtransactions a step further with their GTA Online mode. Rockstar Games allowed players to purchase in-game currency with real money to buy luxury items, vehicles, and even properties. This microtransaction system became a core part of GTA Online's ecosystem, keeping the game profitable long after its initial release in 2013. Players had mixed reactions. While some enjoyed the freedom to speed up their progress by buying currency, others felt the game became too focused on pay-to-win elements. Sports franchises like FIFA also fully embraced microtransactions. EA's FIFA Ultimate Team mode allowed players to buy virtual packs of players, with the possibility of acquiring rare, highly rated players being determined by chance. The randomness and addictive nature of this system led to widespread criticism, with many accusing EA of pushing a form of gambling onto its players. However, despite these controversies, FIFA and its microtransactions became one of EA's most profitable assets, generating billions annually. At the same time, free-to-play shooters like Warface and Crossfire demonstrated how microtransactions could succeed without upfront game purchases. Players could download these games for free, but were encouraged to buy weapons, skins, and other cosmetic upgrades to enhance their experience. The free-to-play model allowed these games to amass huge player bases, while the microtransactions provided a steady stream of income. Though these games didn't have the same cultural impact as CSGO, they still showed how microtransactions could sustain a game without a traditional sales model. Then came the revolution that would define the next phase of microtransactions: Fortnite. Released by Epic Games in 2017, Fortnite introduced a level of engagement and monetization that had never been seen before in the gaming world. While the game was initially designed as a cooperative survival game, the release of the Fortnite Battle Royale mode shifted its trajectory entirely. Fortnite was free to play, but Epic Games implemented a new and addictive model, the Battle Pass. Unlike loot boxes, which relied on chance, the Battle Pass clearly outlined what players would earn, making it feel like a fairer and more rewarding system. Fortnite's success redefined the standard for microtransactions, offering an experience that felt rewarding without being predatory. Players loved the constant influx of new cosmetics, emotes, and skins, and the game's seasonal updates kept things fresh and engaging. By the end of 2018, Fortnite had generated billions of dollars in revenue, proving that free-to-play games could dominate the market with the right monetization strategy. The gaming industry rapidly adapted to this new approach. Major publishers began incorporating battle passes and microtransactions into their games, following Epic's footsteps. The appeal of unlocking rewards through gameplay rather than through random loot boxes was a key driver in this shift, with players appreciating the transparency and sense of progression that Battle Passes offered. Activision was one of the first companies to embrace this model. Call of Duty Warzone, released in 2020, adopted the Battle Pass system similar to Fortnite's, allowing players to unlock cosmetics, weapon blueprints, and other rewards through progression. Activision took it a step further by introducing licensed skin bundles from franchises like Rambo and Die Hard, selling exclusive cosmetic bundles to engage fans across multiple industries. This combination of battle passes and premium skins helped Warzone generate significant revenue and keep players invested for long periods. Other games soon followed. Titles like Apex Legends, PUBG, and Rocket League implemented their own versions of battle passes, providing players with consistent rewards and frequent seasonal updates to keep content fresh. Each game brought its own twist to the model, but the core idea remained the same. Players were incentivized to play regularly and spend on cosmetic items, all while feeling like they were earning something tangible through gameplay. The industry as a whole responded positively to this shift. Battle passes were viewed as a fair, more transparent alternative to loot boxes, which had come under heavy scrutiny due to their resemblance to gambling. Regulatory bodies in several countries had begun investigating loot boxes, and some games even removed them in favor of battle pass systems. Players, too, were generally more supportive of this change. While microtransactions were still a source of controversy, the battle pass model was seen as less predatory and more aligned with the player experience. The COVID-19 pandemic only accelerated the prominence of microtransactions. With millions of people spending more time at home, online gaming surged in popularity. The gaming industry thrived during the pandemic, with some estimates suggesting a 30% increase in digital sales. As the pandemic continued, new games like Genshin Impact emerged, bringing with them fresh takes on the microtransaction model. Genshin Impact combined the gacha mechanics, popular in mobile games, with a more traditional RPG experience, offering players chances to obtain rare characters and weapons. While the game was free to play, its microtransaction system generated massive revenue, showing how microtransactions could evolve even further. Today, microtransactions have become a central feature in nearly every major online game. Battle passes, in-game purchases, and cosmetic bundles are now the norm, and most players have come to expect them as part of the gaming experience. What started as a simple experiment has now become a multi-billion-dollar industry, shaping the way games are made, played, and monetized. One thing remains clear: microtransactions are here to stay, and they will continue to evolve as the gaming industry moves forward. The story of microtransactions reminds of Call of Duty, who also fell victim of corporate greed and mismanagement. Click here to learn more about this iconic franchise. Thank you all for tuning in. I am the Games Guru, loves to all, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.